Hi guys, I'm Ranj, the bearded plumber here in Amsterdam. Hope you are all keeping well. Give me just 1 sec, I'm gonna go and open the other door. Right, I'm back with another video. I thought I will show you guys what I carry in my van. Currently my van's a mess. It's Saturday and I've had a busy week at work. It's winter and as you know, I'm doing about 5 to 7 jobs a day, so rushing in between in and out of jobs. I don't always get time to keep the van as tidy as I like it, so therefore every weekend I give it a little tidy up, put everything back into its place so that I know where everything is, so that when Monday comes I know that my van is tidy and ready to rock and roll for another week. And whilst I was going to just tidy it up a little bit, I thought I'd show you guys what I carry in my van, how my van is racked up, because I get asked this question a lot from a lot of people on Instagram. Hey Ranj, how do you operate your business from such a small van? You've got a short wheelbase Caddy. How is it possible that you can run a business from such a small van? Because people usually think they need a VW Transporter or a Ford Transit or a long wheelbase Caddy, but I just thought I'd show you guys how my van is racked out whilst I'm cleaning it up, and that way I'll give you some sort of idea that if you are after a short wheelbase van, whether it's a Caddy or a Berlingo or something similar, that you can operate your business just the same way I do. So yeah, let's get on with it. So in my van I carry a lot of buckets, mainly because in case I need to drain something down, like a hot water tank or a boiler or something, or large radiators. So therefore there's always buckets in my van. So this bucket here, basically, I believe it's a 20 odd litre bucket, a gorilla bucket. Yeah, so a lot of stuff, everything has a home for it in my van, but right now it's a bit of a mess. But this basically is I think a 4 foot by 3 foot PVC plastic sheet that I could just cover the carpet or something when I'm doing some wet work to make sure it's all waterproof. Rothenberger battery, I've got 2 of them here. One needed charging, so there's 2 of them that I carry for my press gun. Then in this bucket there's basically, it's full of towels and it's got hose pipes to drain down systems and fill the water pressure back up. As being a plumber, you always need to have some tissue roll in your van, so this was, I think, just cheap tissue that you can just rip and throw away and never worry about whether it's going to be soft on your nose or not. This is the good stuff. I've got here 2 14 litre gorilla buckets, and that's basically a long ass extension lead. This I keep because there's many times that I go to jobs where the boiler is plugged into a socket and the earth is missing, or the earth has broken off somewhere, or it's become weak, or the customer moved sockets around and didn't realize he needed to keep the earth going. Someone's done a DIY job, and therefore there's been times when I've had to plug this, maybe even in a room where there's a circuit that's actually working, or even the last few weeks ago I had to plug this into the neighbor's property because the property the boiler was fitted in actually had no earth. I think they were using the cold water pipe as an earth, and then renovation work was done, plastic pipe was then used, and the pipe that was coming out of the ground was actually copper, which was then obviously converted to plastic, and the earth was not being carried anymore. So yeah, I had to use this extension lead to get power from the neighbor's house. Lubrication spray, like WD-40, but only not WD-40, and I thought I'd use this stuff rather than WD-40 just to see if there's any difference. And yeah, it was cheap as chips. I think it was a couple of euros, so therefore I thought I'd try this. And it's silicone free, this one, and I think WD-40 isn't, hence why I thought I'd use this one, or try it at least. So this is my van from the back. When you look out, when the back doors are open. So what I have done is I've built a subfloor, as you can see. So I basically took 2x1 and built a frame and suspended a 9mm ply over it. 9 or 12mm, I think it was 9 or 12, something like that. Suspended the ply over it to give me a subfloor, and under the subfloor I keep my ladder in this section. And then in this middle section here, what I have is when I can open it, is just pipe. So there's a steel pipe and copper pipe, 22 and 15, and a bit of, I think that's old John Guest, which I would just use for sleeving if I had to. And that's Upanor over there. So yeah, a bit of pipe in there. So yeah, that's where I keep my pipes. And then in this drawer, I built a drawer that I can pull out. So in this drawer, basically, I keep a bit of things, a bit of magical stuff. So in here I carry my blowtorch, Stanley box full of copper fittings, because in case I need to do an emergency repair, I can always solder. It's easier than having to carry different types of fittings for plastic MLCP pipe, steel pipe, and for steel pipe I have to use a press machine. So therefore I always keep copper with me, because copper can be obviously used in sanitary water, gas and heating systems, whereas the steel that you can see can't be used on gas or on sanitary water. So therefore copper is always a safer option. This is where I just carry just 2 small little drills, just like that, Bosch impact and just a Bosch driver. These are the 10.8 version drills, but they do take the 12-volt batteries. And the reason why I've got this system is because, as you can then see, that my torches that are lighting me up right now are also 12-volt, and there's the charger for them. So that's that charges 12 volts and the 10-volt batteries. That I believe is an old 10-volt battery, still does a job. So yeah, that's that. Just some flexi conduit, mainly used for condensed water and for overflow on the inlet combination valve that has a expansion relief on it. Another extension lead, strong glue that I use for usually sticking up thermostats if I don't want to screw into the wall, because the customer doesn't want it to be screwed in the wall or damage the wall. Bow constrictor, you never know when you need to give something a yank and tighten it, but you don't want to use obviously some grips on it because it might break the plastic fitting. So that's where that comes in very handy. What else in there is also, that is my garden pump down here. That garden pump basically is what I use when I'm on a top floor and the water pressure is really low, and I need to obviously boost the heating system pressure to at least above 1 bar, 1.5 bar roughly. This is where I use that pump. So it's got 3/4 connections on both ends. So water goes in, water comes out to the heating system, and it pressurizes the system to 1.5 bar or whatever that I need. I always carry jump cables for batteries, car batteries. I've been in a couple of situations where I've needed to either jump my own van because I've left lights on and it's drained my battery, or I always, if I see some poor person on the road who's got their hood up, most likely needs a jump start, I'm more than happy to jump start them. And then I also carry just normal saws. Here's a fine tooth one, and just inside there is also a coarse tooth one for wood, and this one I use for cutting plastic waste pipes should I need to. So that's that. And then there's my battery chargers. So DeVolt, that one I use for my 18-volt DeVolt stuff. Right now currently I'm using it to keep my camera alight and working. So that's just basically a battery adapter for USB outlet and 18-volt batteries. So that's what I have there. That one there is for the Bosch stuff. That one there is for my Rothenberger press machine, and that up there is the Black & Decker charger for my drill that I've showed, and I'll show you again. It's basically just in that bucket over there, that I use to pump up expansion vessels and also drill holes in the flue to take a flue analysis. Back to the floor. So I obviously built a floor and I needed racking, but the stuff that, like, Bosch, Sortimo, those sort of brands, they were way too expensive, and I was only starting up at the start as a business in the Netherlands, and I never actually knew if it was going to take off or not. I didn't want to invest in thousands in my van. I know I wanted a good quality van, so that's why I went for the VW Caddy. It's all I've ever driven. I've only driven Caddies all my life, and the VW Transporter, but once the Caddies came out, that was my go-to van straight away because it's actually the perfect size for my business. These racks are from Machine Mart, and it's basically shelving, racking for your garage. And what I did was, as you can see, I pop riveted it together. I made it secure, made it solid, and I cut it up to the right size for the van. And the width, obviously, I had to adapt as well, hence why it's been pop riveted. I'm not actually using the actual lugs, I think these are called, where they're supposed to slot into. I had to pop rivet it all, but it did the job for me. I've just got these little bins, Dixie bins, whatever you call them, I forgot what they're called now. But yeah, these storage boxes. And on this side of the van, they mainly carry boiler spares. So I've got, this one's for Valent, as you can see, Valent's on that one. So it's full of Valent stuff. This one in the middle is full of Intergas. At the end is for Bosch and Nefit. And then that's the Ramia Avanta, and then that's the Ramia Tezera and Ramia Calanta, because these are the main common boilers that I come across on a daily basis. This one I carry odds and sods should I need it for another job. Like, I believe this is an ATAG sensor for Monday. So I've got a job to go on Monday, and yeah, it's a water sensor for an ATAG. And then obviously other miscellaneous, you know, again, like I said, the van needs a proper sorting out, which I will do in a bit. And but I thought I'd just, you know, give you an overview of my van. More cables. My van is full of cut off cable pieces because I'm always doing smart thermostats or jumping connections together to test what is faulty in a boiler. Underneath here, there's again more towels. That's a drain tray from British Gas. Thank you, British Gas. My vacuum is a DeVault 18 volt battery powered vacuum cleaner. That's there. That box behind there is a fan heater for boiler cupboards, whereas boilers in exterior cupboard, and I always advise them to have a little fan heater in there to make sure the pipes don't freeze. Strapped on the side over here, that is a bottle full of spirits of salts for cleaning out plate heat exchangers. And these buckets here have something or another in them. This one has compression fittings, miscellaneous compression fittings. This one here has flux and solder, and so on. So these buckets have, some of them are empty in case I need to drain down, use it as a drain down bucket. This one here, again, stop ends and a gate valve. There's a gate valve in there. So yeah, that's that. So you see, usually everything has a home in my van. It did take a bit of time and designing it out, but yeah, everything can fit. That's where the kitchen roll goes, and a bit like that. There you go, that goes there. But because all the work is done personally by me, as in I don't have anyone working for me, I know where literally everything is in my van. I know where to go in my van for when I need something, because I know exactly where it is. That's just a magnetic tray to hold metallic parts, nuts. I believe these are from the Ramia Avantas, and that's for the Valent Ecotex. I've got empty chewing gum containers. As you know, I love my chewing gum, but I use them for, again, washers, and like in this over here. So these tubs are full of something or another. That one there, 30mm screws, yellow raw plugs, fast blow fuses, washers, some nails, olives. So yeah, so these tubs do come in really useful for me. I love them. Back there, these are those abrasive strips that you can clean paintwork off copper pipe when you want to solder and stuff. Good old jointing compound by Fernox. My Testo printer for my flue gas analyzer. Not that I really use it, because I just write all the figures into the certificate. And a bit of 1.5 twin and earth. That there is some grout, and I always carry grout with me, because if I ever change a shower, that a shower riser and the holes are in a different place, I can at least fill the holes and make sure it's all watertight. So that's that. There's an old Ramia PCB that needs to go in the bin. It doesn't work. And this box, basically in here, there's some Intergas parts, such as 2 different Intergas fans and gas valve. And then on this side, these are full of radiator valves and other miscellaneous valves. So there's, like, you know, straight rad valve, foot valves. This basically foot valve here is one of those ones that I can use on systems where the flow and returns are reversed. So this is actually one that I can correct it with to get the radiator fully hot. Some steel brushes for cleaning heat exchangers. O-rings that I very rarely ever use because they never really fit into the boilers because they're obviously always different. Back there is a ratchet set that I got from Lidl or Aldi when I was just out shopping, and I saw it was a bargain. I thought you might as well take it. Air vent and a few press fittings, emergency press fittings, just in case I need to press and convert to get the job done. Up here, heat resistant aluminium tape, and then there's other parts in here. So I always keep one toilet filler valve, although I don't work on toilets, but you never know, you may go to a job you've actually used a toilet, and then when you are using it you notice that the toilet fills so slow and you're like, you know what, I'm here right now doing a boiler service, I might as well just change the blimmin' float valve. So that's a Jebrit float valve there. Intergas PCB. This is a Ramia, I think I showed you guys a little while ago on Instagram. This is a Ramia diverter cartridge remover for the Tazera. That's the mains voltage MT4 by Honeywell for underfloor heating systems. I carry a trace heater with me just in case I go to a boiler that is in a cold cupboard outdoors on the balcony. I'll always advise them to have a trace heater fitted. So on this shelf I carry a few PCBs. As you can see, there's an Intergas. This one's for the HR version. That's for the newer HRE version. That's a Ramia Avanta PCB, because these are the PCBs that mainly go, and I've got two HRE ones, just because, as it happens, I think last winter went to 3 jobs in one day where I needed the same PCB. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to keep them in the van, to hell with it. And that over there is an Intergas gas valve with the ignition cable, or a transformer cable, sorry. And then I've got a Wera, I might as well show you guys. This is a Wera ratchet set. I've got the ratchet from here in my bag, and the rest of the kit is still here all together. And then on the top shelf over here, I've got some 3/4 stop ends, because a lot of the radiator connections, although they're 1/2 inch, some of them actually they come from the factory with 3/4, then they have adapters, so therefore I might need to cap radiators off. That's that. Some rubber gloves just in case I never need them. And then I've got what's this? These are pressure gauges and filling valves combined in one. More air vents, auto air vents, 3/8 in this country. All the air vents are usually 3/8. And here's another set of Wera tools, the Jokers, all the way from 8mm through to 19. The ones that I mainly end up using only are the 8, 10, 11, 12, 13. I've never really needed to use anyone else, but you never know. I keep them in the van for the odd day that I may need them. I keep obviously just, normal thermostats, because some customers may not want to invest or spend the money on a smart thermostat, so I will obviously put a normal thermostat in, and that's just some double-sided tape up there. And then I've got a couple of extra Nipex pliers here, just in case, run of the gun, I want to just open up a few nuts and just sort something out. There I've got a 3.5mm Wera just always sitting there as well, just in case I need it. And just the other day I got these were cheap as chips, and I just thought, you know what, you never know when you may need a set of sockets on a 1/4 inch shank. So yeah, I got these. I think it goes from 5mm all the way up to 13mm, and it even includes 9mm, because obviously 9mm isn't even part of the Wera sets. So that's why I was like, you know what, I'll just get this set. It's cheap as chips. That cardboard box basically has a burner gasket for the Nefit Bosch boilers that I sometimes end up servicing. Well, I service quite a bit of them, but the burner gasket may need changing one day, and I don't want to be on a job where I can't leave the boiler working. Laco oil for the fans, and just some markers there. This is a pump that needs to go back under warranty. I always keep a Spirotech booster in the van. You never know when a system is really bad, you've changed a pump, and you can advise the customer to put a filter on it to prevent further water damage to parts. so there's always a filter there. I keep a foot pump in the van just in case my machine is out of juice and I just want to get the job done, and that's why that's there. This contraption here, I will do a video on it one day just to explain what it is, why I made it, and if it worked or not. But yeah, I'll do a little review on this in the near future. A 2-inch elbow there that I just cut and I fixed it to the side panel there, and that has WD-40 in it, tape measure, hacksaw, cleaning brush, a funnel and a boiler brush there, just hanging in there. And yeah, so that's the back of the van when you open this back doors. On this side here, I've just, in a flue bracket, just suspended my Testo 760-2 multimeter, and then I have a fire extinguisher underneath it just in case, you never know, for emergencies. And yeah, so there's a gas leak detector and lubrication and a wear cup. Let's close this side. So on this side, this is my side loading door. This is the one that actually comes factory fitted. Here in this country, because the driver's seat is on the left side, this is the normal sliding door on the side that you would get. So this is the one that I use as my daily go-to door to grab my tools. Currently I'm using my Vito Pro Pack Tech MCT as my daily bag for carrying my tools. A set of steps. This is just what I would use on a daily basis to prop myself up by about half a meter off the ground. And then this bucket, well, basically it's 3 buckets. So on one bucket I've got a Bucko shoulder strap, so I can carry the buckets at once. And the reason why I have 3 buckets is because one bucket has my drain hose, towels, the drill, the Black & Decker drill for, so currently it's got the air pump attachment attached to it. So this is how I pump my expansion vessels. Inside the bucket there's also a chuck with a 10mm chuck, 10mm. So with this chuck I drill my holes in the flues to do a flue analysis. This is a Wiesmann heat exchanger scraper to get in between the fins. There's more towels and rags in there, more hose pipes. So that, and then I've got these flexi black rubber buckets that are about, I think, 4-inch high, and the full diameter of this bucket itself for draining down radiators. And obviously because they're flexi and bendy, I can put them in almost any position I want. So on 99% of my jobs that I go to, these 3 things are what I would normally carry. These 2 especially, so obviously my hand tools, and in my bag there's my flue analyzer and all my screwdrivers and hand tools that I need to do a repair and servicing. And then this is the bucket that I would obviously take to drain the system down, do my expansion vessel, recharge. It's got brushes, it's got towels. If I don't need to do anything wet, if there's no wet work and it's just fault finding electrically or electronically, I will take just my Pro Pack, my hand tools with my flue analyzer, and if it's just boiler faults. But if it's definitely wet works and I know it's going to be wet works, I take the bucket with me as well. And then I may have to run back down to get my steps in case I need a few more inches to reach above the boiler or whatever. Again, here's a pump that I took off, and this is the one from a job where I thought the pump was faulty, but I actually don't think the pump's faulty. The guy has really bad cold water mains coming in, so that's another job to investigate for later. But for now I want to close this off, and obviously it's still a brand new pump. And here I've obviously spoken about it before, my Vito Pro Pack TPXL. So currently it's got a few more tools in here, and then back there are my 2 TP4Bs. Both of these have almost all my other tools that I would carry with me, but I don't use them on a daily basis. So these are mainly just there for installation work. I love them, and they are hooked on the back, so there's hooks on the back, and I basically built a personal customized little L-shaped bracket thing there to keep these clipped in place. But what I'm going to do is, in my review about MCT bag, I will be explaining what I'm going to do, because I think I've sussed out how I'm going to use that bag and possibly retire this bag. because I want to use my Velocity Rogue 2 bag again as my main servicing bag, because I do miss it. That is still my favorite bag, and I will explain in my next YouTube video why I love that bag over all the other bags. But yeah, so as you can see, there's a lot of bucko tools in there. Nothing special, just screwdrivers, spanners, grips, the ratchet, radiator ratchet there, a file, nothing special, you know, crowbar. I've forgotten half the name of these fucking tools. Steel sens. Here's an old PCB that needs to go in the bin. That is my personalized roll there, the protection mat from stickers and that. That's there. So I've got two shelving tray thingy majigs, I don't know what you call them, but anyway, again, for your garage, these should be fixed to your garage wall. But again, I've mounted them to my van, so that one basically carries miscellaneous small little things, as you can see, olives, raw plugs, bolts and nuts. I know literally what is in every single compartment. There's in this one, you know, connectors, electrical connectors, and they're basically all pulling out. So what I did was I got net banding or net springs, and I mounted it on so that none of this all falls out. It all stays in place, so when I'm driving, nothing ever falls out of its place. And then I did the same on this one, but these trays are a bit bigger, so the way is like you pull it down a little bit, pull your tray out. These are 16mm to 15mm adapters. So yeah, here in this country there's so many different size of pipes that it actually does get quite annoying. But you know, play with the card that you're dealt basically. So I have to carry quite a variation of different fittings and fixtures. You know, lever valves, cold water lever valves, that's 15mm, got 22 in there as well. 22mm compression fittings and 15mm fittings. You know, again, I can show you in this one here. Just more silly fittings. These are basically left over from compression fittings where I've used the 16mm adapters, so there's always a few of these left over in my van. These here are for the booster pumps, so you know, I know exactly what I have in my van to get the job done. Then I have my Regan Premier 45, the bigger U gauge is hanging there. Another old pump that needs to be put in the bin, and then just some pipes and some threaded rods are in there. I can show you. There you go, the 10mm rod there. There's some 8mm ones in that one there. And then in this drawer, I carry inhibitor and cleaner, ferrules, some more cable. This drawer needs to be a bit organized a little bit. But mini pipe bender, copper grease for intergas bolts, an RCD tester, electrical tester, and yeah, turbidity tube, you know, to show the customer how dirty their water is when you can't see the cross at the bottom there. PTFE tape. So yeah, just need to organize a little bit more. It's got a bit messy. Oh, and here's that flexible net, bungee net spring thing I was talking about that I've used on all my racking over here. And this is the front. I tried to keep it clean, but again, I want to organize all this. There's some fittings in there. Another smart thermostat, and I don't know about you guys, but I always like to keep peanut butter in my van. That's just in case, you know, sometimes I might feel I'm low on sugar, so I just take a, you know, finger full of that. Those are Honeywell 8T10, the motor heads. Show you them just in case you want wondering, that's them ones there. So here in the boilers and the diverter valves in this country have these heads rather than the metallic ones that you guys have in the UK, because these are low voltage, and obviously in the UK everything is mains voltage. So yeah, few parts I need to organize in my van. I came across this foamy double-sided tape. I love it. I use this for sticking up thermostats to the wall. It really is strong and does the job. And here's my beard brush that I use to keep my beard in shape. And as you can see, I keep my dash as clean as possible. I don't like a dirty van. And also in my van, as you can see, I carry a baby seat for Jasmine because she loves coming in the van with her dad. So I always keep my baby seat in there. And this way it sort of helps me keep the van tidy as well in the front, because I know that she would want to jump in at every given moment. So onto this side. This is my driver's side. I bought my van brand new because I wanted this side loading door. After working at British Gas, I came to realize how valuable a second loading door was, because then you get access to another side of the van that you wouldn't normally, and you would lose this. So as you knew that on the other side, you've seen the other bulkheads with the little compartments, that's basically backed onto this. So I've increased the volume of my van by having this extra door. And then on this side I have, again, like I said, a lot of 2-core cable, 3-core cable, because everything here is usually low voltage. More cable needs to be organized. CO alarms back there, another bottle of Lacquer there. Some more thermostats. These are old thermostats that I've taken off from jobs where I've replaced them with smart thermostats, and I always keep them as spare just for fault finding. And also these are actually the wireless version. So there's a BDR91 by Honeywell that I can pair the thermostat and the BDR91 together to get me out of trouble. There's some zone valves back there. That in the bubble wrap is a Intergas PCB for one of the older HR boilers. Another new BDR91, some solder when I need it, that's the lead free version. And down here, these are basically Valent G10 seals, Ramia maintenance kits, which have the new burner seal, ignition electrode. So there's 3 of them I've got there, and that's the Valent stuff. And then that over there, as you can see, is the Ramia air vent. On the flow of the Ramia heat exchanger on the Avanta, that is an air collector or air separator. That's that, because I've replaced about 2 or 3 of them which have been pinholed, so therefore I always keep that in the van as well. And then in this drawer is where I usually, this is kind of going to come out because I don't need it, so I don't keep my pressure machine in the van usually, but it just has an SDS and manual crimping tools for the MLCP pipe hair, a Bosch angle grinder, a fine multi-tool cutter, hair dryer for obviously when my beard gets wet, that's there. These are terminal guards for the flue terminal guards that we use here, and I've banged on about these a couple of times now, but I always keep these in the van now. The Fisher plasterboard bolts fixings, these are amazing, they are very strong, I would highly recommend them. Just some other little hand tools in there, nothing too important. This is basically the flow, or the return actually. That's the return, and that's the flow pipes for a Valent Ecotech when I need to replace the rubber hoses that usually leak and get caked up. So I always keep a set of that in the van. And a hammer for doing it the Russian way. When it doesn't work, just give it a bash and hit and hope basically. And Rothenberger pipe benders over there. So that is basically my van that I've tried to show you what I keep in it. Just down here I've noticed the Honeywell cartridge for the diverter, zone valves, mini expansion vessel for the cold water when you get the hammering sound. So there you have it guys, that's my van. I hope this has helped. I know this was a completely undirected video. I didn't write anything down, I didn't do any planning. I just thought I want to do a sort of a tidy up, and I might as well just show you what I have in my van. That is my beauty, that is what I do all my work with, and I think I'm shy of 50,000 kilometers in 4 years of driving it. And yeah, she's a good little workhorse, and if you guys are after a decent van, yeah, I'm obviously going to be biased and say go for a VW. my two favorite vans of all time have always been the Caddy and the VW Transporter. But personally for me, the Caddy is just perfect. It's like, you know, driving a Golf rather than an actual van. It makes you feel like you're driving a car with a bit of extra space. So yeah guys, if you have any other questions about how to organize your van, how I do what I do, you know, feel free to drop me a message, leave a comment below. I will obviously respond to you. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook. Instagram I love using on a daily basis. Follow my stories. I try to vlog daily on my daily jobs to show you guys my life here in Amsterdam as the bearded plumber. And also I'm going to try to start filming more now. As I've said in my stories on Instagram, I'm going to try to film more and stitch them all together to make you a week's worth of my jobs, what went great, what didn't go so well, just an honest vlog of my daily life here in Amsterdam as the bearded plumber. So yeah, please like, subscribe, share, comment. Like I always say, you know, in the comments, please let me know what else you'd like to see and where else I can help you guys. You know, we're all in this together. We're a big family and I just want to help everybody where I possibly can. And on that note guys, live long and prosper, and I wish you guys a fantastic time ahead, and stay safe and see you all soon. Over and out.